All right, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to You Don't Know Ball. Got another reaction to just PFF's mock, where again, I'm gonna let him just do the whole thing. We're gonna react because it got updated again. There's some big trades that happened, and I wanna see, again, what PFF's thinking. Also, we're gonna change one of the sliders here, because last time I kind of had it more towards the middle, with the public getting in the middle of it. I think that's kind of skewing things. I just wanna see, we're gonna react to just what PFF thinks. I wouldn't care for positional value. I'm gonna leave a little bit of room for if they want to go, maybe not the most pertinent need. I want to see what they think. And then with randomness, I left just a little bit of room for randomness, but nothing crazy. I think this would be a lot of fun. We're going to select the Browns, get right into it. Caleb Williams taking number 1 overall. That is what's going to happen on draft night. Again, barring him catching literally a felony over the next couple weeks, he's a bear. He's a bear. Just don't overthink it. And Drake May at number 2. Again, very likely chance we could see this. But, maybe Washington goes another route. There's definitely a chance. I think that this is very likely what we could see, though. If not, though, I think we either see a trade down or Jaden Daniels. It's got to be one of the three, right? And then Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Patriots, which I actually think is really interesting. Because, the more that I think about it and the more that I hear other people's thoughts, I am starting to lean towards the fact that it's true. Like, the Patriots' reality situation is they go QB right now this early without trading down. It just seems like a recipe for disaster. And in this mock where I know the computer kind of struggles to make trades with each other and it doesn't really ever trade down or up, I think that going Marv right here at number 3, and even if they went this route in the actual draft, look, it might not be the best value in the world in terms of what you could do if you trade it down, but I think it's definitely actually a better route than going the QB route, and you're getting yourself surefire talent. So I actually don't mind it at all. And then at number 4, Malik Neighbors to the Cardinals. Again, very likely what I do believe we'll probably see happen. However, if Rome were to go right here as well and kind of shock the world per se, it wouldn't shock me very much. I understand very much so why Rome is some people's wide receiver 2, even 1 for some people. I completely understand it. And if you don't, you just got to crunch a little bit more Rome's tape. Again, such a talented prospect. I do think it'll be Malik, but if it's Rome right here, I certainly would not be too surprised either. And then Joe Alt at number 5. A lot of buzz around could Joe Alt be the Chargers guy. Again, totally could be, but I don't like it as much because we're then having to kick him out to the right side, right tackle. He's been blindside his whole life. And again, a lot of people think you can kind of just transition tackles one side to the other. And sometimes it works that way. But with a guy as talented and high of a ceiling as Joe Alt, I feel like you kind of want to keep him in that position he's been so dominant at, where we're kind of then risking how high the ceiling could be, taking him, putting somewhere else. So with that being said, I feel like the Chargers are probably going to go another route. Like, for example, trading down, taking Talise Fuaga, which we actually did a couple mocks ago. Something like that makes more sense to me than taking Joe Alt and playing him out of position. But again, bottom line is, Joe Alt's such a talented player, such a talented athlete. I'm sure he could do it. I just don't know if it's best case scenario for him or the Chargers at pick 5. And then Rome here at number 6 to the Giants makes complete sense. It's definitely something where we have a very good chance of seeing this on draft night if they decide not to go the QB route, because you just need a receiver and you got to give your quarterback a chance with whoever that they're going to be throwing the ball to. This receiving core is relatively bare bones at the moment. They need a splash, and Rome very much would be that splash. And then pick number 7, Quinyon Mitchell coming off the board to the Titans. I definitely think the Titans are going to want to go O-line first. But again, Quinyon Mitchell, I do love his ceiling. I definitely do not like him at pick 7, though. I think a lot of Titans fans would agree that's a little reachy to be taking Quinyon off the board here. I'm literally just sitting here rolling my eyes. Like, we got Brock Bowers 2 of these simulated reaction mocks in a row to the Falcons. Does PFF know something I don't? Like, let me be clear. If you're playing 12 personnel with this lineup of Bowers and Pitts, I mean, it's fun. It's absolutely insanity. But is this the route the Falcons are going to go at pick 8? In my opinion, absolutely not. I think you're going to see them taking a pass rusher right here or an interior rusher. Whoever it's going to be, I do believe it's going to be D-line at this point. And that's just logically speaking. I don't see them going another route. And then at pick 9, we got Byron Murphy to the Bears. PFF thinking just like me on this one. Again, I'm not really hearing the rumblings for how much Bears fans are really feeling this one, especially now that it's locked in. Like, Justin got traded. Caleb's your number 1. There's no doubt. If there ever was somehow a doubt with some of you guys, I'm sorry. I got to harp on you guys a little bit. But now you know. Okay, so Caleb's the first pick. Number 9, if you don't trade down, because I'm starting to lean towards, like, the trade down truly might be the best value for the Bears here at pick 9. But if they don't go that route, Byron Murphy's ceiling just so high. And I'm so high on this player. I think that I might be one of the highest on him of anybody that does mocks or anything. Because I'm telling you guys, I think still Byron Murphy's still underrated in the process. This could be a guy where I really do believe we look back on this class in a few years and we're like, how did Byron Murphy, was he not just kind of like a consensus top 5 prospect in this class? Love him so much. I think he's going to come wreck a games wherever he lands. And if he lands in Chicago on this already now stacked up D-line, all of a sudden, man, the Bears potentially in line to kind of have like a Houston Texans revival type season from last year. Absolutely. And then the Jets at pick 10 taking Cooper DeJean. I mean, hey, assuming that they're going to play him at safety, that's actually, and now that the Jets O-line is starting to actually get filled out. Like before the free agency cycle, it was like, oh, they have to go O-line right here. I still think that there's a very fair chance they could, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't at this point. And if you're taking Cooper DeJean off the board at pick 10 to go play strong safety for your team, which is what it would look like at this point, I actually kind of love that. The Jets defense is already stacked, but hey, we're just making it into even more of a no-fly zone. I can't hate it. I don't know if it's the direction they would go. I doubt it. But at the same time, it certainly is an interesting twist on this mock. And then at number 11 to the Vikings, Jerzon Newton. I love this value. Again, especially after Byron Murphy got taken off the board. Next interior very likely coming off the board here. And the Vikings need interior help, especially after losing Danielle Hunter, even though I know Danielle Hunter is not in the interior. We need pass rushing help. That's what we're going to get here from Jerzon Newton. I think if you're a Vikings fan, again, I think you would very much want to go QB here, and I think the Vikings are going to go QB here. However, I understand the way that PFF does these mocks a little different. They don't consider certain things, like that Sam Darnold is just the bridge. I get it, and the algorithm things get a little messed up. So, if they don't go QB first round, which I'm very sure that they will, Jerzon Newton here is certainly not bad value. It's just maybe hinders the future of the team if they don't go QB, you know what I mean? And then Dallas Turner at pick 12 to the Broncos. Again, same thing where I'm very positive that I think the Broncos are either going to trade back or take a QB right here. Again, PFF simulation maybe doesn't have all that in the tools just yet. And so taking Dallas Turner off the board, knowing that they need an edge rusher, getting yourself a blue chip prospect out of this year's class, you definitely can't be upset at it. So we'll just take it at that, where more than anything, I think what I'm going to say is PFF, please start incorporating computer-to-computer trades in these mocks. That would just be so nice. And then Nate Wiggins here, pick 13. Certainly not a fan of that value with how much the Raiders could fill much more premium positions, and they need to fill those more premium positions. But again, I like Nate Wiggins' upside. But I'm going to be honest, at pick 13, that's a bit too much of a reach for me. If he hits on that athletic upside, though, I might end up eating those words in a few years. I'm just saying, with the way the board's falling right now, and more just for the Raiders and what they need, I'm not really a fan of that landing spot. All right, and at pick 14, we got Troy Fautanu to the Saints. And again, I think that this, if I'm not mistaken, this might have been the one that happened last time when we did the PFF simulated one. Saying the same thing I said last time, man. I would love this as a Saints fan. Need O-line. We're getting ourselves probably the most versatile O-lineman of the entire class. Man, I love Troy Fautanu to the Saints. I'm not changing any tune from last time. If that happens on draft night again, I will be very happy. And Terran Arnold right here, pick 15, the Colts. Again, after free agency, shoring up that interior more, that interior D-line to be specific, I actually think that you're getting fantastic value here now with Terran Arnold. I don't mind it at all. And I think potentially, a move you could see on draft night right there. And then Talise Fuaga to the Seahawks. Very interesting, because I guess it looks like Talise is playing guard now. But, again, just like everybody said throughout the process, Talise could be an absolute mauler monster at guard. I'm all for the experiment on the Seahawks line where you already have a pretty solid young group. Now we're adding Talise to that group. We could be an electric young group. I'm rocking with that, and that's definitely something I haven't seen mocked yet, I don't believe. So whenever you see something like this late in the mock draft process, it's always interesting. Talise to the Seahawks, man. Definitely a fun little twist. And then Laiatu to the Jags. Hey, if that were to happen, and Laiatu can stay healthy again, all of a sudden, Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, and Laiatu on the same line? I mean, and Eric Armstead, how could I forget post-free agency? So all of a sudden, if this were to be the case, that Jags D-line definitely really coming to life and kind of terrifying. And then Jared Verse, pick 18 to the Bengals. Again, definitely not the route I thought they were going to go. But kind of replacing Sam Hubbard, turning Sam Hubbard into more of a rotational player. I don't mind it. I mean, Jared Verse coming into that D-line, all of a sudden starting, we got ourselves for real, a real unit. And in rotating Hubbard, I mean, I think that's a really good scenario and definitely sneaky. But could this be something we see on draft night all of a sudden? It's not something you think of initially, but I'm seeing the vision. I definitely kind of like that pick right there at pick 18. And then J.J. McCarthy at pick 19 to the Rams. Now, if this were to happen, the league might want to be a little bit concerned because this would be or dare I say best case scenario for JJ. I mean, it's not, the chances of this happening are so slim with the way things are trending. JJ is going to go much earlier than this, I very much believe. But if he doesn't, and somehow, some way, Sean McVay gets his hands on him, sitting behind staff for a couple seasons at least, I mean, this would be the scenario for the Rams right here, where again, I think this is not what's going to happen. They're going to be able to bolster their team with the first round picking, they are still competitive now and stay even more competitive. But for long term, this certainly would be a crazy play to witness happen. And then pick 20 to the Steelers. Jaden Daniels. After they just traded for Justin as the backup, Steelers, unfortunately, looks like they just wasted their first round pick, or at the very least, completely just traded for Justin for no reason. I mean, I don't know. Steelers fans, just let me know in the comments, I guess. I really just don't even know what to say about this one right here. So Olu Fashanu at pick 21, I mean, he's either sitting behind Teron until he retires, soaking up all that knowledge, getting better and better, or we're kicking him to guard, which honestly scares me with Olu's build and just pure frame. I don't know if he works very much at guard. I guess the Dolphins are willing to take on that experiment potentially. Kick him back out to tackle if it doesn't work. I don't know. This certainly is a little bit of an interesting pick here in this mock. And then at pick 22 for the Eagles, again, kind of similar, exact same similar situation to what we just had at pick 21. Are we just sitting him for a couple years, letting him start once Lane Johnson retires? But then it's like, we don't know. Lane could still play for a longer time. Like, we've seen how some of these veteran tackles go when they had a great career. They could go longer than you expect. Playing him at guard, his size and frame, that's kind of a tough transition over to guard. He's already raw to begin with. This would be very interesting selection in the first round with how competitive the Eagles already are to go with more of a depth pick in the first round. I don't know if that's what the Eagles would do. I don't think so, but you never know. The Eagles love their O-linemen, just maybe. And then pick 23, the Vikings now on the clock with that Texans trade, taking Bo Nix off the board here at pick 23. As it turns out, I said, pick 11, the Vikings, maybe messed up. Hey, all of a sudden, you get yourself Bo Nix and Jerson Newton in the same class. Hey, I'm going to give credit where it's due. I think, I don't mind that at all. Bo Nix, sneaky guy. I think in a Kevin O'Connell offense, definitely could find a lot of success. Sneaky, but I kind of like this right here. And then J.C. Latham at pick 24 to the Cowboys. You just absolutely love it. I mean, coming to take Tyron Smith's spot, switch sides on the line perhaps, however they want to go about it. But again, I love J.C. Latham, and he's one of those guys where it's just like, I still really like the ceiling, but I love the floor even more. It's like you bring him in very pro-ready. You're not too worried about it, that he's at least going to be a productive starter for you, and he could have potential to be much more. So it's like, and when you go to the Cowboys, the pedigree they have over there, the O-line coaching, J.C. Latham to the Cowboys is kind of a home run. I love that pick right there. And then shockingly, the Packers going Brian Thomas Jr. Again, I don't think they're going to be looking to bolster that receiving core in the first round after they were very, very productive for how young they were last year, building that connection with Jordan Love. You don't need to make this pick. But Brian Thomas Jr. and the Packers would definitely bolster that core a lot. Again, you definitely don't need to do this, but it's a fun little thought experiment because I don't think it's going to happen on draft night, but hey, it happened right here. And then Jackson Powers Johnson at number 26. He fell way too far. This is ballistic value right here for the Buccaneers. If you're a Bucs fan and this somehow happens on draft night, you guys are one of the winners of the draft. Nothing more needs to be said than that. And Graham Barton at pick 27 to the Cardinals. Again, fantastic value. Filling what you need after going receiver early. Getting that interior stuffed out. You gotta love it if you're a Cards fan. And this, again, something you might be able to see on draft night. This is definitely value, I think, around where he'll go. And then Peyton Wilson at pick 28 again to the Bills. Again, hold on. Does PFF know something we don't? Because I love Peyton Wilson. I do think, again, if he can stay healthy, the health concerns are the main thing. He very well could be the best linebacker in this class. With those health concerns, though, I don't think he's going this early. But PFF's had him going 28 in these last two. Did he know something we don't? And then, shockingly, with definitely some other interesting corner options still on the board, potentially better options, the Lions went with TJ Tampa. But I got to respect it, Going with the guy that, in this mock, that's their guy. Going with the lankier guy. Hey, I don't mind it. TJ Tampa's one of those guys who might have fallen down the boards a little bit here, but I still think is for sure top, 50 talent in this year's draft class. Definitely top 60. Like, I don't think we're going to see him going this early. I definitely don't. But to the Lions here at pick 29 after last year's draft, it maybe sounds like something that's possible. Jokes aside again. I don't love him this early. But certainly is interesting. I'll leave it at that. And then the Ravens going Chris Braswell here at pick 30. Again, Chris Braswell's one of these guys where it's interesting where maybe like falling down slightly, these boards, just a little bit over the past month or so. But I was hearing, again, I talked about it when we were doing the live stream for the draft. I heard a few, sources that I follow that talked to, we're just around the Senior Bowl, stuff like that. They were saying, like, if Chris Braswell goes first round, like, don't be too surprised. And I still wouldn't be, and especially towards this back end of the first round here. And I think on the Ravens D-line, rotating in and out with already a lot of pass rushers, this would be a fantastic landing spot for Chris Braswell and definitely a sneaky good spot on this mock. So with Jair Brown playing as good of a rookie season as he did last year, and then Hufanga was the All-Pro before the injury, I don't really know if I understand this pick here for Tyler Nubin. I guess if you're the Niners in this scenario, you're assuming Hufanga's not going to come back the same ever, and this is just Hufanga's potential replacement. But again, at pick 31, this to me is not the play, especially for the Niners, because let me be clear, I love Nubin, fantastic prospect, very likely to be the best safety out of this year's class, but to the Niners is just not the spot for me. Oh, they did it again. This is 2 in a row. Ladd McConkey, the Chiefs. But again, something we very, very, very well could totally see on draft night. Wouldn't be surprising at all. Very much would complement a lot of the other guys they have now, where this would be kind of a great group. Ladd just very complimentary to everyone else that's already on the roster. Definitely something we can see the Chiefs doing on draft night. All right, and that'll close us out for today's mock. If you enjoyed, drop a like, drop a sub. We'd love to see you back, and you have a great rest of your day.